Hello, everybody. Welcome to the
Hello.
iShine podcast. Yes, I am
Hello.
your host, Angela Lewis, A Love, and I'm so excited because listen, my new girlfriends are here, and we are about to tell you about this phenomenal conference that we did over the weekend. Oh my God. You weren't, everybody wasn't there, so y'all missed it. When I tell y'all missed an epic conference.
Yes.
Listen, it was all that and then some, from the decorations to the vendors to the speakers
Oh, thank you.
to everything. It was just on point. And so we have the amazing Miss Latoya Jackson to thank for that. She is the founder of WOP, Women of Peace. And I'm telling you, right now, if you have not already, please share the broadcast out to your different platforms because this is going to be a treat. We got some powerhouse women on here and they are going to drop it. So I already see somebody saying, hello, hello, hello. Thank y'all for being here. So listen, while you're sharing, because again, we know that y'all they're gonna say some things that you're gonna want to hear. So make sure you get in, be still, go and get you something to drink real quick. Get in and not miss anything, right? Because it's going to be amazing. So I was looking at Monica was another one of the speakers and looks like she's having some technical difficulties. So Monica, if you see it, just keep trying. I'm not sure what it is, but keep trying to get in because I believe God gonna let you be a part of this. So whether it's in the beginning, in the middle, or honey, right before the end, to bang it up like you do, I'm gonna
Yes.
try because I know you're gonna make it happen. So listen, let's get started. Latoya, this is your baby. This was the Women of Peace conference. This was coming from behind the mask.
Yes.
Tell us first and foremost, let the audience know who you are, and then let's kind of get into this conference and this concept that you came up with. How did it all get started?
Oh, how did it all get started? Well, I'm Latoya Carr Jackson. I'm from Springfield. Um, I came up with WOP back in 2020 during the pandemic. But for many years, I had been asking and praying God to deliver me and give me peace. And He clearly gave me the name Woman of Peace. I was delivered in 2016 at a women conference. God showed me that I was delivered because I had been praying for so long for peace in my life. And from that day, I was free. And then last year during the pandemic, going through things, and sometimes your past will haunt you. And I asked God again, I said, God, show me that I'm at peace. So God clearly showed me last year. And during the pandemic, I birthed it, WOP, Women of Peace. And I came up with the name
You went on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Whatever you did, it went back out. Baby, this thing must get ready to be powerful because the devil is showing his behind, but we're not gonna let it happen because y'all gonna hear this tonight. Trust and believe. Come on, Toya. Uh-uh. Mm-mm.
There you are. Okay. Probably her AirPods. Mm-hmm.
Honey, when I tell you technology be so good and so bad at the same time,
Yes.
it's okay. Because listen, don't nobody go anywhere because this right here is gonna be so good. Y'all already know when he show out, that just means it's just that good. And that's how it was at the event. It was just that good. So while Toya is going out and coming back in, Shay, Miss Crawford,
yes.
you picked it off for us. You started the domino effect, baby. Y'all know how you get a domino and hit it and it just boom, knock everything down. That's what happened after Toya got in, and started the thing. Shay was the first one, Miss Shavonda Crawford, I might say, was the first one to come in and get the thing started. So please introduce yourself and then tell us how you met Toya and what your thoughts were about the conference.
Awesome, awesome. Well, first of all, Angela, thank you so much for inviting me to this amazing podcast. I got a chance to meet you ladies at the event, and I was just, just knocked away with just how beautiful you guys' spirit was, how well we just connected and bonded, and it immediately just felt like a sisterhood. Just immediately then. And so thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it. But I am Shay Crawford from Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I've been raised here all my life from Meridian, Mississippi. Born in Meridian, Mississippi. But I am a entrepreneur. I have a business S corporation by the name of Craw Visions Inc., which entails real estate, staging, property management, you name it. I've been a hairstylist for over 25 plus years. And I've done just all different types of businesses. And so I am a true entrepreneur by heart. So I met Toya 2 years ago. I actually sold Toya her first house, her and her husband Kevin, and just immediately meeting Toya, there was just an infectious connection to her, just her spirit of just her love, her giving of herself, and we just hit it off just right away. And I immediately told her, I said, you know what, I'm selling you this house. But I don't just sell houses. I'm all about being in relationship with people. And I told her that immediately. I said, I'm going to sell you this house, but we're going to forever be family. And I truly meant that. And so 2 years ago, I sold her a house, and, immediately she just started sending me all of these people. Like, I was getting text messages, you guys, like 10 and 15 people like a week. And I'm like, Toya.
Come on, Toya.
Sell that house. And you know what? The thing about it is, when you take care of people, when you take care of enough people, then they will become a raving fan of you. And that's exactly what Toya did. I wanted to make sure that I took very good care of her and her husband, and she just became a raving fan. And then we just bonded and had this connection over the last couple of years. And then just recently, she said, you know what? I forgot you did hair too. And so she was like, can I get an appointment? And so that's how that happened. She started coming to, get her hair done. And then now here we are. We can't, she said, I want you to speak at my conference. And I said, really? Me? And she said, yes, you. And I said, I would be honored, Toya. And she didn't have a date just quite yet. And I said, okay, when is your date? And it's so crazy, you guys, because it's not crazy. It was divine. Yeah. She told me her date, and she said, it's going to be November the 7th. And I said, oh my gosh. I said, I'm throwing an event on November the 8th. I said, but you know what? I'm going to do it, because that's all that's going to do is prepare me for my event. Yeah. And so moving forward, the event, you guys, oh my gosh, if you guys missed the event on November the 7th, November the 6th, that event was powerful. There, down from the decorations, as Angela said, down from just small intricate pieces where she had the mask that you could put on. It was just a beautiful, serene time. And there it is. I got my mask too, Angela. I love it. I love
it. Listen, honey, this thing right here.
Yes. And when I tell you, yes, coming from behind that mask, boy, when I tell you, we came from every angle that we possibly could have came from.
Yes.
We came in there, and before you left from there, if you, like Toya said, if you didn't get anything from birthing and pushing on down to thanking God that you were still alive. Yeah. I mean, it was just a beautiful event, and we got some great nuggets from it. And she actually got a chance to crown, and I know Angela talked about it too, but we were able to be crowned for being just, she chose women, and she chose us too. And what's beautiful is everybody in there felt like they were a queen, even though they might not have had a crown on. but the event just made us all feel like we were queens.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
it was just a beautiful event. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much, Toya, for putting it together.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, when I tell y'all that, Shay Honey bounced in there and got her crown, boo. But for the rest of us, listen, even down to the cupcakes,
Yes.
with those
Yes.
beautiful crowns. When I tell y'all that it was just such a beautiful spirit Toya has of making everybody feel
Thank
wonderful and really feel like you're in a space where you could come from behind the mask and start dealing with
you.
issues. And her theme was to release whatever it was that's
Yes.
on you, whatever it is that's holding you back, whatever it was that's been sabotaging your life and keeping you hostage. This was the opportunity to let that go, to get rid of it, because y'all know we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and God did not call us to be in confusion and chaos and hold us
Yes.
hostage. We need to come from behind the mask and be all that we can be.
Mhm.
So when I tell you that Shay Crawford came out there with some affirmations that she had everybody, she set the atmosphere to come in and be bold and be beautiful and be,
Yes.
all those things. And so from there, and Toya, now that the mic is working, come on and tell us about yourself, and then tell us about, you start off with the Women of Peace, but how did you come up with this particular conference?
How I came up with this conference because my mic cut off. I don't know. It's ladies trying to join, and I don't know how to do that, Miss Angela. So that's why I think I lost connections there. I came up with WOP last year. Um, God clearly gave me the name Women of Peace.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've been wearing a mask for so long. For 16 years, I wore a mask. And God told me clearly, He said, it's time to come from behind that mask and help other women. And when I was in the process last year, when we was all in a still moment, due to, shut down and couldn't go anywhere. And I was writing in my journal, trying to find myself, looking back through my journal, from the years. And I seen it what God told me, and I did an event in 2018 for a group here in Springfield called Beauty of Ashes. And the lady asked me, could I reach out and help them? And I catered and I decorated for them as well. And the theme, the topic was coming from behind the mask. And God told me, He said, you're wearing a mask, or you helping other women come from behind the mask. So God clearly told me that I had to do an event. But for me, in order to do this event, I had to come from behind the mask myself. And I had been helping so many other women over the years come from behind the mask. And when I had asked God to deliver me in 2016, I wanted peace in my life. I was tired of the chaos, the past haunting me, or going back to feelings that I had. And God clearly gave me that sign of peace, and I was delivered in 2016. And just last year, I birthed it, WOP, Women of Peace. And it just came to, and God clearly gave me the name WOP. And when I put it out there, and everybody was like, WOP. And I was like, not that WOP. But God told me, He said WOP. But He gave me that clearly. And from that day, God has really blessed me. Since then, I became certified as a life coach. And God laid it on my heart. He was like, you have so many other women that go through things, broken relationships, broken marriages, divorce, and losing parents. And everybody was like reaching out to me, how did I, get through? And I said, I'm strong. And I said, God kept me. And He just clearly told me, He said, you're going to be a relationships life coach. So, and again, that's how WOP came about as well. Because I wanted to reach out to so many women and let them know that there is peace. And, for me, that's a lot, because sometimes we, on our jobs, we don't have peace. In our businesses, we don't have peace. In our marriages, we don't have peace. And for me, letting go, releasing that thing in 2016, God has really shown me that I'm walking in my purpose.
That's powerful. And I love it that you broke it down to say that as women, we wear so many hats. We carry so much on us. We struggle with a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to show up strong, because, and I'm just put it out there, even for Black women specifically, we are known
Mm-hmm.
to be
Come on.
strong. We carry
Yep.
the burden and the brunt of so much. And it's to the
Yep.
point of where you don't even have time to say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. Or well, you don't have
Yeah.
time to do that because
Yes.
the kids got to get somewhere, the husband got to get somewhere, or your mama,
Mm-hmm.
somebody is pulling on you from so many different ways to
Yes.
where your peace is constantly threatened. And peace, when I tell y'all, is priceless.
Mm.
To
Yes.
get peace and to understand the importance of peace, regardless of how strong you are and what you go through, if you can get it, if you can understand how
Mm-hmm.
necessary it is to have peace. And so for you to
Yep.
create a whole group behind that, and for you to, show up in this space at this time, coming from behind COVID, it's so many things that went on. And so I
Yep.
know that I'm just grateful, for the opportunity, that
Mm-hmm.
you allowed us to come and speak, but at the same time that you stood up and you shared your truth, because sometimes,
Yes.
people will do things and they don't really share their truth, but you shared your truth with us.
Yep.
And that was just took it to a whole nother level.
Yes.
So thank you so much. I'm gonna move on to Miss
Mm-hmm.
Patrice Kelly because she up here, honey, came and released some things. So, Patrice, can you share with everybody who you are, ma'am, and what your thoughts were about the conference?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Patrice Kelly, and I live in Gallatin, Tennessee, and I currently work in early childhood education. I started um, a blog with a friend, PK Michelle. I'm the founder, and she's the co-founder. And so for me, it was just to uplift women, to be raw, authentic, rare, and empowering. And so from there, I just kind of took off with like a spiritual coaching type of thing. And I've always done vision boards for the past 7 years. And so Toya and I had met 3 years ago almost. And
Mm-hmm.
she was interested in my vision board sector. We kind of just dabbled in that and we just stay connected through that. And when I see she's doing something, I'm like, hey, sis, I see what you're doing, keep up the good work. And we just kind of kept in touch that way. And so she told me last year, pre-COVID, that she was going to have an event. And she's like, I want you to come and speak at my event. And kind of like Shay, I'm like, little old me, what am I going to talk about? But I'm always obedient. And so I never just say yes immediately, but the Lord had already showed me the type of person Latoya was from the moment we met at another conference. And so I wasn't going to have to say no at all. I was excited to say yes. So, yeah.
Amen. Amen. So, what were your thoughts as you sat in the midst and listened
Oh my
to a
goodness.
Shay Crawford, listen
Yes.
to, Toya come in and speak and share, her testimony. And then, to end it up with Monica,
Oh
who
gosh.
unfortunately couldn't make it on. But what were your thoughts as you sat there?
The moment I walked into the venue, let me just start there. There was no one there but me and one of the vendors and the sound guy. And when I walked in, I was just like, this is beautiful. Like, who does this for a women's conference, And Toya wasn't there. And I just remember like walking around and trying to figure out, okay, where am I supposed to sit? What am I going to do? And I don't know if I shared this with you, Toya. I know I shared it with someone. It might have been Jamaica, who was our host, who was amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
I touched every chair in there. I just prayed over every chair.
Mm.
No one was there but me and Sparkle, one of the vendors. And she never said
Oh.
anything. I just touched every
Oh,
chair because I
wow.
thought, I don't know who's coming, but I have to be obedient. And I hope whoever
Whew.
sits here takes something with them. And so for
Mm.
starters, that's where my mindset was, where whoever sits here, I want them to take something from this conference. And then Shay, oh my gosh. I know I shared with you, Shay, briefly. I mean, we were in the midst of the conference. I really couldn't tell you enough, but as you began your story, that was a piece of me, and I remember, I got pregnant at 20. I was a sophomore in college. My parents held me up here, but they didn't know what I was doing. I was away from home. You understand what I'm saying? And the shame that you might feel, from your family or your church family or your friends, like I've let someone down. But over the years, the Lord showed me that my daughter saved me. There wasn't anything to be shameful about. I gave you her for a reason. I saved you with her. And so hearing that from you, that was like, okay, this is divine. You went first. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like
Wow.
she's speaking life, and that's what I needed. And then Latoya, every nugget that she's ever dropped, whether I'm reading it or I'm watching her live, some nights she's on there. I don't even know if she knows I'm there. I'm always just watching her, and then Angela, oh my goodness, Angela, and it's funny because I think I told Angela when she came and sat down, I think we had a little bit of an intermission before I went, and I was like, I can't go after you. Like, you could just like do the benediction and go home, okay? Like, and she said, "Oh yes, you can," And then as I'm telling her that, I'm looking at around the room because I'm like, "Well, the Lord sent me here for a purpose, And there's someone in this room that whatever I say is going to change their walk immediately, because He wouldn't have sent me, And so I had my moment to talk about manifesting your visions and things like that. And I think I started with this because it's one of my daily affirmations that I think when we're wanting to start something new, we're so guilty of saying how. And I've learned over the years that the how is none of our business. You just have to do it, And then Sister Monica, anointed. Yeah, I can't even. There are no words for what God brought to us that night at that conference coming from her. To share her story of death, in a foreign land, and the Lord breathing on you, and allowing you to be here to speak to us, and you haven't even been in the States this long, and it was something unreal. I can't even express what I gained from that conference. What I do know is I've been high all week, and I know
yes, me.
And I think that's the beauty of it is that, a lot of times, and Kathy Jolavet, I came on and said hello to all the beautiful queens. Thank you, Kathy. We appreciate you tuning in. For so many people, you go to events, and when you go to events, you kind of, this is great. And then you leave and you don't remember, you forget or whatever, but I think that and why I want to recap it is because, everybody can't be everywhere, but at the end of the day, what happened in that space was so on a whole nother level. And I was blessed, to even have my daughters present, over them, and the crazy thing is that, when you hear somebody who really is speaking, God is speaking through them. It wasn't Monica talking to them. It was God doing a revelation through her. And that in and of itself was powerful, but it's because the atmosphere was set, from Shay coming in, with the affirmations, from you coming in saying it doesn't matter how you get it, as long as you get it, for you to share, for Toya to talk about release, and letting it go, and had the balloons in there and said, so when it's done, grab one of these and whatever is on you, release that thing, in a beautiful atmosphere, It's so much, Toya had her hands on all of the moving pieces in there, but you take that and then you take Sparkle Tanika Robinson coming in, with her jewelry and her clothes, and then you take Kelly A. Bowens coming in from the CEO district with her, products and everything, all of that, to Toya's family being there, to other people. It was just like who needed to be there was there. And it just really elevated it to such a beautiful level. And Shay, I want to say for a lot of people, sometimes people don't understand their story, and you share, about your family and about starting young and about, going back to church and wonder like, okay, what is Bishop going to say? So many people have a level of shame about, getting pregnant in their teenage years. And to share that and understand, like you just said, Patrice, we don't know God's purposes for what we go through, but I do know that the Bible says all things work together for your good. So if you know that, sometimes we have to stop trying to be in control and really stop worrying about everybody else, because at the end of the day, God already knows what we're doing. So the people pleasing that we tend to do, the imposter
Mhm.
syndromes that we try to be connected to, all those things
Mhm.
don't matter, because if God already knows, then who else?
Who else?
What old girl say on the show? Who gonna check me, boo?
That's right.
And
Right.
so, Shay, what do you want to say about, your testimony and, the reason behind you starting off with all those positive affirmations?
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, it's important that, as you talked about coming from behind the mask, you know, we all talked about it. Us as women, we wear so many different hats,
Oh,
so
yeah.
many different masks. And I know for me, I've always been one of those people. I would say, what you see is what you get,
Yes.
but not really,
Really?
Right.
because even at me, feeling like at some points that me having this authenticism of myself,
Yeah.
I know at times that I put on mask.
Mhm.
And this is part of what I didn't kind of share then, but we wear so many hats. We're trying to be, a good wife. We're trying to be, the best mom we can be. We're trying to be the best, for me, I'm trying to be the best businesswoman.
Mhm.
So when I'm out there, speaking with, gentlemen, and I've got to put on, like, hey, I got to have my game, together. And we just wear so many different hats that it's sometimes so hard. We get lost in that. We get lost in like who the real person is
Mhm.
behind the mask. And I think for me, speaking of just allowing me to just have my authentic self, that's something that I've really been probably within the last couple of weeks, been working on, is just being myself
Yeah.
without judgment,
Mhm.
without worrying, like you just said, about what other people are going to say and do. I mean, once you get past the age of 40, as they talk about, like, you start just, what I'm saying, you just start being who you are, saying what you
Yeah.
want to say,
Mhm.
and just like, what, if you don't like it, hey,
Mhm.
I just did a live today, and I said, if you're not getting something from my live, then don't get on my live.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
you know,
Bye.
bad, like, and
I
and
gotta
I
write
talked
that
about
down.
I talked
Oh,
about
yeah.
even the people, like even the people of that you try to put on a mask for, and you're trying to fit into all of these different circles and all of these different groups and
Mhm.
stuff. And I said today, I said, my steps are ordered by the Lord.
Mm.
Mm.
That's what he told me. He said,
Yeah.
so regardless of where I go, God is going to direct me to the people. He's
Yes.
going to give me the connections that I'm supposed to be in. He's
Mhm.
going to direct me to the places I'm supposed to
Oh,
be.
yeah.
And he's going to give me all that he said I already have what I
Oh,
need. So there's
mhm.
no need for me to even try to put on a mask.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Just walk in the divine purpose of what he has called for me to be in my journey. And so I've been intentional and strategic about doing that in the last couple of weeks. And that event really helped me to have this breakout of just, it was a release for me to
Mm.
just talk about,
Mhm.
my past, and having my son, and knowing that, even at a young age of 19, I was still
Yeah.
wearing a mask because I didn't want Bishop to know
Yeah.
what I was doing to do.
Right, right, right.
And so, just allowing me to release that, and to just say that. Sometimes it's good to just say those things out loud.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but I knew that God had already, I knew that he'd already forgiven me of
Right.
that, and there was
Mm.
no shame in that, but just allowing me to share my
Oh,
story
yeah.
with somebody else, so that they
Mhm.
can be released and they can be delivered and
Oh,
set
yeah.
free.
Mm.
And so I just appreciate of having a
Mhm.
space that I could
Mhm.
feel the freedom and the
Freedom.
liberty to be
Mhm.
able to share
Yes.
that without judgment.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Mhm.
And when you are able to speak your truth, it releases power that other people have over you. And I
mm,
think for a lot of
Mhm.
people, being behind a mask, really, you're giving control of your life the essence of everything that you are to somebody else, because you're making decisions based on not even being your authentic self. You're
Oh,
making
yeah.
decisions. I think I mentioned, well, we'll start off and say Jamaica, who was the host, mentioned that it's not even just coming from behind the mask. Oftentimes, for most women, it's mask plural. We hide behind multiple masks, and I mentioned, we're covering embarrassment, guilt, and shame, in some situations, in other
Yeah.
situations, you're hiding pain and grief,
Yeah.
in some situations you're trying to, conform, you're trying to be like everybody else. And I said, you got to dare to be different. You got to dare to be, we were
Yes.
fearfully and wonderfully made, and there's not one
Right.
hair on our head
Mm-hmm.
that God doesn't know about, but there's not
Man.
nobody else is like us. I don't care if it's identical
Woo.
twins, their fingerprints are still different.
That's
So
right.
the fact that you want
Yeah.
to conform to be like somebody else is really a slap in the face to God,
That's
because He
right.
created you to be exactly who you are. And so when you come from behind the mask, He
Yeah.
already knows. So you're not hiding from Him,
Say
you know.
that.
Right.
And as you said, as you start getting older, you get to a place where, baby, you either like it or love it or leave it. And either one,
That's
I'm
it.
okay with that, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's where we have to get to a place that, and I love, Toya, that you open up that space
Oh,
for
yeah.
people who have been living behind a mask for so long to say, you know what, the time is
Mm-hmm.
now, not next week, not next year, don't wait till 2022 to
Right.
start, but it's right now.
Ooh.
So let's talk about the fact that
Mm.
it's now, not later, but right now.
That's a confirmation just in
Yeah.
itself, right there. That now.
That
Yes.
now.
Yes. For
Your
me,
next is now. That's what
yes,
that is.
I had to be obedient as you just said, because um I wasn't going to have the conference. I was going to postpone the conference. And God
Yeah.
clearly showed me. He said, you have to be obedient. He was like, I gave you this gift. This is your purpose for you to walk in it. And for me, coming from behind the mask for so many years, God told me clearly, He was like, you wanted to do a conference, do that conference. So ticket sales wasn't going. Then as I talked to my sister, Kelly Barnes, and she told me, and I talked to another mentor of mine, and as she mentioned, it's not about the numbers, because who's going to be there is going to show up. And one of you all said at the conference, the blessing is in the show up. So that was
That's
all
Mhm.
confirmation.
Yeah.
There was so much confirmation for me in doing this event, because I was going to postpone it. And God clearly told me, He said, you got to be obedient. And I gave you this gift. I want you to walk in it.
We can't hear you, Toya.
Me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. I don't, Miss Angela, can I ask you a question? I got so many people trying to join, and I think that's what's interrupting me. How do they join?
They should be seeing it because I shared it into the Women of Peace group. So they
Okay.
should be
I
able to
don't
see it. Yeah. They should be able to see. It should be broadcasting live there. It's broadcasting live on the CEO group. Let me see if I can send it to your page, and maybe they can go directly onto your page to see it as well.
Okay. But I think that's why I keep getting interrupted, because I got so many people trying to come in.
Okay.
But I had to be obedient. And God told me clearly, He said, this is your purpose, so walk in it. And as for me, coming from behind the mask for so many years, I wore that thing for so long, and it was just time for me to release. And God told me, He said, it's time for you to use your mouth. And He told me clearly, He said, this is your purpose. And I was afraid of that, and I kept running from that gift for many years. And as I prayed and been praying, and I asked God to lead me and guide me, and He just clearly showed me. He said, we're going to remove that mask. And as our host, Jamaica, my MC, had said on Saturday, she said, Toya, she said, coming from behind the mask, she said, it's with an S, that's plural. She like, there's got to be a part two. So, and I'm like, oh, wow. Because, we carry so much, and there's so many things that we do go through in life. There's life after death. There is life after divorce. When we lose someone, when we feel like that we're not good enough, and finding our confidence and things like that. That was me for so many years. It took me up until last year, 2020, to find confidence in myself, to wear the things that I find myself wearing today: sleeveless shirts, a little touch of makeup, and things like that. Because there was a mask that I painted on years ago when people would see me outside of my house, but once I got home, behind closed doors, they didn't see that pain, they didn't see the mask. that I just took off and laid down. I wore that thing for so long. So I have never been a moody person, but God told me clearly, He said, I've given you this gift, use it, walk in it. And as I spoke over the ladies on Saturday, I told them they are blessed, they are free, walk in it. Because I'm telling you, there was a day of release. I've been getting messages ever since Saturday. It touched me when me and my husband went out to eat just a minute ago for his birthday, which is tomorrow. Mine was Monday, and our anniversary is Monday. And I received a message from one of the girls that was there, and she's been going through a divorce for a little bit over a year because she didn't want to let that thing go. And today she messaged me when I was eating, and she told me that she met with the lawyers and everything. And she told me that she normally cry when they go to, these divorce meetings and trying to finalize everything. Been trying to finalize things for over a year. Couldn't get there. And today she finalized that thing because she was released on Saturday. And
Mm.
that touched me. That touched me
Praise
because that
God.
lets me know that these ladies got something out of Saturday from each and every one of us.
Yeah.
And that was a blessing for me to hear her say that I did not cry. It's finalized. It's over. I let it go. And I told her that she was free. That was a blessing. Oh, that touched me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Wow.
there's nothing like freedom, and whatever freedom looks like for you, you really have to define it, because freedom for me may be something, a different type of freedom for Patrice. And
Right.
Patrice's freedom may be different from Toya's, and Toya's may be different from Shay's. You
Yes.
have to know what your freedom looks like in
Right.
order to be able to embrace it fully. Because I can tell you all day long about your situation, but if that's not um issue for you, or is not, something that you don't agree with me about, then you're not technically free, even if I'm telling you
Right.
something. So
Yes.
beauty of it is, really us coming into our own and embracing who we are. But what I love about you, Toya, is that you're so supportive and you're so encouraging, and you are so
Thank you.
freely giving of people, and there's things, like Shay said, when she helped you get a house, you didn't just tell one person, you didn't send 10 to 12,
Mm,
15 people there, what I'm saying, to help her business. Most people don't do that. When we
Right.
were in the building, you were just like, if anybody want to write a book, see Angela, she can help you get your story out. You freely give and freely share your blessings, or information, to help somebody else. And a lot of times people keep it to themselves, when you can come from behind
yes.
the mask and be
Yeah.
everything that God calls you to be, but also to not hold back. And I
Yes.
think that, for a lot of people, they don't see women like that. A
Hmm.
lot of times, we're always so pitted together, when they say, oh, but we can't get along, it's
Mhm.
always a crab in the barrel mentality.
Hmm.
But when you can stand up in your truth, and when you can say, even with you and Shay, y'all shared a beautiful testimony about, her doing your hair, and you called her, and typically it's people in there, but how you all had an experience that, was a release from God. It's the beauty
Mm,
of that, because sometimes women need to hear that you can have
mm,
experiences like
Oh
that with
yeah.
your sister. You can have an experience where God can come in and touch you both, and people
mm,
can speak life into you. But you got to
mhm,
be, number one, again, it's in the show up, because had you not showed up, had you not thought, I'm just going to ask her, because we're so quick to think that, oh, she don't have time. Oh,
Right.
she busy.
Mhm.
Oh, I ain't gonna bother
Hmm.
her. Oh, girl, I'll do without her. Girl, oh, it'll be okay. We're so quick to brush off things that
whew,
can be life changing. And so the
yes.
obedience is, that's that's what does it for me, that you were obedient in multiple scenarios to get us to where we were on Saturday. You know,
Yes.
because for
Hmm.
somebody else, they may have been like, girl, for the pandemic and all that, and I don't have time to do all
Yes.
that. I'm
Oh yeah.
good. You know what I'm saying? But you press through, you know.
Hmm.
And so, Patrice, I guess I want you to share, because you shared a lot of good things in your talk. And I
Hmm.
want you to pull something out of your message that you can share with the audience now.
Oh my goodness, Angela. Let me think. I'm thinking. Latoya, you were there. Angela, you were there. Shay had to leave.
Yeah, no, but you talked about that. You talked about the manifestation of like how you put everything on this
So,
board.
so a lot of people, I think, this was something I will say, in doing a vision board. I brought my first board with me that I've done 7 years ago. And I normally do the boards like November, December of the year before the next year. So I'm already working on my vision board for 2022. And the very first year, I covered the board. I think I mentioned, corner to corner, all over. There was no open spaces. And so as the years have gone on, I've realized that if I'm truly trusting God to do something for me in my life, I've got to give him some space to do those things. And so my boards aren't as full. I put a little something here and a little something there, but I leave those open spaces because the God I serve, he can come in there and he can just add something else, something that I have yet to think about, something I've yet to pray about, because what he has for us, no matter when, he will give it to you. I think we get so caught up in asking God really specific, like, Lord, I want a new home. Lord, I want a new car. And we'll go pick the car out. I remember I bought a brand new car, not new to me. I bought a brand new car March 5th of 2020. Okay. That was my 40th birthday present. I've never bought a brand new car. It was not on my vision board. I literally woke up on a Wednesday morning and said, today I'm going to go car shopping, and went the very next day and had the car. Now, prior to that, I would have been thinking I can't get a brand new car, but it's all in what God wants for you. And, and I spoke that, and I was determined, like, hey, I'm gonna go get me a brand new car. And I bought it a week before the world shut down, March 5th.
Wow.
Yeah. And here I am with this brand new car, and I don't even know if I'm gonna have a job next week, And
Right.
so, but the God we serve, ladies, I have never missed a car payment. I actually didn't have to pay a car payment for like 6 months because of the pandemic. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh.
And so, that wasn't on my vision board, but the Lord put that there for me,
Yes.
And so you have to give him room.
Yes.
And you have to be open to receive. And I always tell people that I've worked with on the vision boards, it might not happen overnight. It might not happen this year, but I keep all of my boards are up in my house, every one of them, because just because he didn't do it then, that doesn't mean he's not going to do it, and I always ask him to exceed my expectations. Go beyond my requests. I don't want to belittle God, because we serve a great big God, and he says we can have everything that we ask for if we believe. And so I'm trusting him every day for something new. And so because of that, I don't limit what he can do for me. I just, I'm a believer, and I know he can do it. I don't have all of my wants, but he's given me everything that I need.
Absolutely.
And I love that you said, about not limiting God. And that was one of the biggest takeaways to me for what you were saying about, the vision boards, and that you put so much on a vision board, you don't give God space to move. So as you progress, you started putting, maybe just core things, but you left room for God to move, because you know that whatever you're asking, he can do exceedingly abundantly above whatever we think or ask. And so if we just put it out there, he can put his supernatural on top of it. And it was something that you said about, oh my God, what was the way that you put it? It was something about, it was something to that effect about, allowing God to do more than what you are expecting or something. But I forgot how you worded it, but it was just so powerful to me on what you said. It'll come to me in a minute, but
just exceeding your expectations, pretty much. I mean, I don't know if that's what you're saying. I just think we it can't be big if little has it. And
that's it. Yes.
That's it. Yeah. And that's Bishop Walker right there. I have that message. I listen to it once a week at least. I can, I will, I must. And even in that message, I think it was something that you said a moment ago, Angela, or maybe Toya, like when God calls you to go and do something, He's already put the things and the people in place for you to see. You don't have to question. If he tells you to go, and in that message, Bishop Walker, I just love it because I listen to it once a week. And he says, if the Lord told you to get up and go to Bucksnort, Maine, you don't even know where that is on the map. But if he told you to go, you have to know he has something for you there. Whatever he has, it's already there, And so that's just how, and I haven't always been this way. I think it's one of those things when we have something pivotal happen in our life, And for me, it was losing my father almost 7 years ago and watching my father literally die. Like, his body was stricken with cancer. And in that moment, I remember praying with a women's group or some sisters in Christ that we were like praying. And someone said to me, the Lord won't put more on you than you can bear. We've all heard that. And so I was resting on that. And I was thinking I was bearing something. But it wasn't until my father passed away that the Lord came and he met with me. And he was like, Patrice, you weren't bearing anything. It was your father who was bearing the pain to get you to a point of acceptance that he's no longer going to be here. And so
powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And so, in that moment, going through that, my walk has totally changed. I thought I was on fire for the Lord. I hadn't seen anything yet, because since that moment, I know that changed me. And I think I said, I started going to therapy then when I lost my father, but therapy found me, it's not taboo. The Black community, we don't go like we're supposed to. We go to our girlfriends, we talk to someone on the phone. And a lot of times they're either been through, I have no clue.
On their way out.
But they're not equipped to handle it. They're not.
They're not. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not.
So, and so it's just, my walk has totally changed in the past 7 years. And that's when I started my vision boards, is when I lost my dad. And so there's so much that he has done for me in those moments. And I'll go and I'll look at those boards and I'm like, I can't even believe it because, it's things that a lot of times it's stuff I haven't even went to him about. It's just things that I put there and I'll notice that God did that or that happened, And so I don't know if it's because we can see it. I don't know if it's because we're looking at it every day. I think Toya had her vision board up. Like last week, she was showing somebody her vision board when she went live. And you had real money on there. I said, I don't think my money would last on the vision board.
Hey, look, because I'm thinking the same thing. Look, this is Jamaica says, what is the message from Bishop Walker? We all need to.
Yes. It's an old message, but I'm sure you can find it. It's called I Can, I Will, and I Must. Yes.
I can, I will, and I must. So yes, we all need to be listening. And I'm gonna tell you what was so amazing to me, honestly, is that although we all come from different places, we were all at the same space in the same place. You know what I'm saying? In terms of being ready and connected, and it was like it was kind of like a continuous thing for all of us. Like even though one picked up and one started, but it just it was all just like it just kept getting better and better and better, And I think that we were in a position where God had allowed all of us to get to a point where we could all receive and give at the same time, and that's a powerful place to be in when you can give and receive at the same time. Sometimes people say, it's better to give than to receive, but if you don't have your hands, if you have your hands tight all the time, you can never get anything. You got to be just as good at giving, and you got to be just as good at receiving as you are in giving, because you won't be able to do it well. You can't give well if you can't receive well. It's like you can't lead if you don't follow well. That's right. It's a reciprocal process. And so, what Toya created was an atmosphere for us to enjoy and embrace and acknowledge each other's gifts and strengths. And to understand that what I feel like we've got now is a beautiful friendship that any one of us, in meeting over the course of 2 hours, maybe 3 hours at the most.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're solidified. And even though Monica's not here, still that's our sister. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That's
And for
right.
her to
Yeah.
do what she did to come in, and talk about her experience in
Woo.
Abu Dhabi, you know, to be able to share that and to be able to prophetically speak some words. When I tell
Yeah.
y'all that God was all up and down through what she was saying, I mean, it was just a joy
Mm,
and it was so
Yeah.
amazing. It was so
mm.
powerful to see and to be in that atmosphere. So, Toya, now that it's done, now that you've seen it, what is it that you want to share with people about the essence of the conference?
For me, I'm still on full.
Mhm.
I am still on full, but when I tell you God showed up and he showed out. And for me, if you did not leave with something, if you didn't leave on full, if you didn't leave with a different mindset,
Oh, yeah.
oh my gosh. When I tell you that conference was powerful, it was, I can't even, the other day I was sitting there, I was crying and I was like, Lord, I was like, it was all you. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't number God. And I had to be obedient and I understood the assignment.
Mm.
And for me, I had to do that and helping other women come from behind that mask. Even if they didn't get something from Saturday, I tell women to reach out to me, reach out to you ladies, because we all have a gift that someone needed on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I had prayed for divine connections. That had been my prayer. That's on my vision board that I put on
Mhm.
that in the pandemic, was that God connect me to the divine connections, the
Mm-hmm.
divine relationships, the divine resources. I had asked God to show me, and he did that just on Saturday. When I tell you, all four of you ladies all connected,
Oh,
even the women that was inside the room, we all connected, we all bonded, we all left with something. And all the feedback that I've been getting, I like, I have my tissue here now because I felt myself tearing up as you all were speaking. But God has just been so amazing. He showed me that it don't stop here. God wants us to continue to connect. God wants us to continue to reach out to women and help these women come from behind the mask. Just know that WOP Women of Peace, I'm here. My phone, my messenger, is my messenger is blowing up right now. But when I tell you, God was just in, oh my gosh, if you did not, I will say that one more time. If you didn't get anything from that conference, and like I said, Miss Monica is not on here because she was not able to get on. And Monica lives in Kentucky, and I think Kentucky might be a drop zone for me and to connect as well. But
mhm.
Miss Monica testimony, oh my
Yes.
gosh, it was so
Oh,
Mhm.
powerful.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, and then if I know that it wasn't recorded at the end, but when I tell you that room was shifted,
Mm. Yeah.
oh my
Yes.
gosh. I had one
Yes.
lady left her shoes. She left her shoes. I messaged her and I said, "Did you leave some shoes? Did somebody leave some shoes?" She said, "Those are mine." She said, "Honey," she said, "after that conference," she said, "Honey, I couldn't put them shoes back on."
Look out.
She said, "I came out of them shoes." But when I tell you that room was shifted,
Oh,
when I
yeah.
tell you, if your mindset was not changed
Mm.
of, oh my gosh, the prayers, I mean, people
Mhm.
was crying, the women was releasing, I
Yes.
mean, the overflow of blessings. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I felt doors opening. I felt the release of women. And as I said, I done talked to so many women since then telling me the things that's happening. I talked to another
Yeah.
young lady today, and she's going to be a part of some things that we got coming up. And she just busted out in tears because she said that was my prayer. And
Mm.
God is opening doors for her. Like I said, this is not about me. This is not about Toya. This is about helping other women come from behind the mask.
Yeah.
If you want to, like I had said, mentioned earlier, write that book, what it start that business, just reaching out. Even if you're looking for a friendship, you got so many women that's so
Mm.
afraid to even connect with one another. As I had
Mm.
mentioned on my
Oh,
live the other day, if you're
yeah.
not connected to someone because your circle don't like them or because
Mm.
your friends don't like them, it's
Yeah.
no time
Mm.
for that.
Oh,
That's
no.
right.
It's, I mean, because this is a year we done lost so many people.
Oh,
We done
yeah.
lost so many people. And this
Yeah.
guy told me the other day, it's time to live. So
Okay.
stop disliking women, stop disliking men, stop disliking people because your friends don't like them. Start
Mm.
connecting to these women, start supporting one another because we need that. This year I felt it. I felt Saturday was a shift. It was a shift for me. As my aunt, she was there and she mentioned it the other day. Well, today she mentioned it to me. She said God came in and God shifted that room. He
Yes.
shifted our
Yeah, you
crowns.
did.
Our
Mhm.
crowns were shifted on Saturday.
Absolutely.
I never experienced anything like that before. And I had women that came to the event last year and they told me, they said, Toy, this one right here was powerful. And it was all God. It was all God. Because I prayed. I prayed. I have been praying all week, Lord, just show up. Just be with me on this one. And when I tell you God used me, He spoke through me. I didn't write no notes down. Everything came from the heart.
Mhm.
Everything came from the heart. And like I said, this is not about me. This is about me helping other women to come from behind the mask of letting go of things that's been holding them back. That the heartbreak, the breakup, losing a parent. Because I lost my mom at 23. My mom was 47. And on Monday, I cried. I cried because I'm 44. And I started seeing my mom's health decline around the same age at 44. And God has kept me. And it's nothing but the grace of God.
Yeah.
And I'm just so
Amen.
thankful that I came from behind that mask. And I'm just so thankful that I'm released. I'm free.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful and
Absolutely.
thankful.
Yes.
That's
Good
good.
stuff.
Priscilla says she loved where it says time to live.
Time to
And
live.
Yes.
if people don't get anything else, I think that's the essence of where we are in this time of our lives, and it's so funny. You said your mom passed early, and Patrice, I think you said, did you say somebody in your family passed at a young age as well?
Oh no, I just said I lost my dad seven.
Yeah,
It'll be 7 years in July.
7 years in July. Okay. Did you, um, I may be thinking of something different, but at any rate, when you start thinking about how many people have been lost, since the pandemic, I mean,
Yes.
it's just a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
loss,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know whether you're going to be
The
here in
hour,
2040,
the
much
hour
less
of the
20
day.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't. And it has to come to a point. A friend of mine, I saw he had posted that one of his guy friends was talking about, he's a Tennessee ball friend. And, he was asking about the game, I think it was recently, maybe in Kentucky. And he was like, man, go and
Yeah.
enjoy the game. And the guy left and went. He
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm so glad you told me to go. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And he was like,
Yeah.
life is too short. You've got to live. Stop
Yes.
second guessing. Life is about experiences. And the more that you second guess and overthink and try to figure it out and wait for it to be perfect, you're
It's
wasting
gonna
precious
never be.
time that we don't have. And I
Yeah.
think that is really the beauty, like you said, of God
Mm-hmm.
shifting where we are, because we can't go back to being mediocre
That's
No.
after
right.
that conference. We can't
Mm.
go back
No.
to, people pleasing and trying to
Oh,
conform
Mm.
to somebody else's idea of who God designed us to be. We can't go back there anymore. It's people who are, I think it's several people that are very close to me that were in serious illnesses that could have went the other way, but God brought them on back from the hospital back home, and now they're doing better. But do you know that it could have
Mm.
been the other way? And
that's
so
right.
when you start thinking about, should you do that? Absolutely do it. Write the book, start
Mm-hmm.
the business, go out of the country, go out of town. Some people never leave their town.
That's
You're
right.
right about that.
Experience life. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Experience new
Ooh.
foods. I don't like
Yeah.
that. How do you know? If you've never tried it, you don't know. If you don't
Come
like it, spit
on.
it out.
Yes.
Talk
It's
my
okay.
language.
Spit it
Yeah.
out. It's okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, spit it out. But at
Right.
least try it. You know what I'm saying? Because we waste so much time trying to
We
say
do.
what we
Know
aren't
what we
grateful
do.
enough for what we do. And so you
Yes.
gotta start somewhere. And I'm telling you that I don't think anybody who was in that building can come back. Even my daughter was like, it's time out for waiting around. When she got that prophetic word from Monica,
Yeah.
it's time, because it was confirmation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was confirmation that I need to move forward with the things that God has placed in my heart.
That's
And
Yes.
right.
for everybody who was there, and for those of you who are listening now, for those who are going to catch the replay, if you don't get anything else from this broadcast, it is about people coming together in their zone, speaking about what God had on their heart. Because for most of us, whether we were looking at something or not, it was God ordained, and
Yeah.
he was able to share through us some things that people needed to hear. Like you said, each one of us, somebody got something from somebody.
Oh,
And
yes.
so the beauty of it is, that as good as it was last year, it was good this year, but it's going to be even better next year, because God
Absolutely.
is a God of increase,
Yes.
so from glory to glory,
That's
so if
right.
we think this year
Yeah.
was great, next year it's going to be even greater.
Yeah.
And I just want you, Toya, to continue to be obedient, to
Thank you.
continue to
Yes.
be a light, to continue to, allow God to speak to you, because you were just like, okay, I'm gonna just say this, then I'm gonna sit down, but he was constantly talking to you, and you would
Pouring
get up
into
and you would
us.
say something,
Yes.
so, well, okay, I'm done, now I'm gonna go sit down. But that's the obedience that was there. So I just want to say how much I am grateful for the opportunity to be there, because it
Thank you.
has truly, like I said, connected me to these beautiful ladies that I know we are going to be able to collaborate and connect and
Yes.
pour
Yes.
into and share from now until, and so
Right.
that's amazing. Shay, what do you want to say and leave the audience with before we leave?
Just kind of piggyback off of that, just allow God to order your steps.
Yeah.
Allow Him to lead and guide. Like, we talk about, the time is now. That's pretty much what I used even for me,
Yes.
planning my event. Is same thing with Toya. I was gonna wait to 2022, and God, I clearly heard Him say, no, now.
Now.
You need to do this now, because you need to set the tone for your 2022.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
we're not waiting, we're going to do it now.
Yeah.
And so I want people to understand the season that we are in now is a
Mm.
now season.
Season.
And if
Yes.
you don't use the opportunity and
Mm.
you don't use the resources, the connections that God has connected you with, if you don't allow Him, your steps to be ordered by Him,
Yeah.
then you're going to miss out on an opportunity.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
going to miss
Yeah.
out of the door of opportunity to be able to walk through the divine purpose of God that God has for you.
Yeah.
So do it now. As
Yeah.
Angela said, live now. Live
Mm.
now, travel now, eat now. Real quick, I went on 4 trips. My husband and I, we traveled 4 times just this past year with the whole pandemic. We went to Puerto Rico in April. We went to Vegas. Then we went to Puerto Rico. We went to Jamaica. And then we went to Panama. Literally, we've had 4 vacations in a year span. And my husband literally had to say, he was like, okay, look, look,
You gotta slow down.
you know, but I say that to say, like, we weren't fearful, we weren't scared. We God literally put in us to like go.
Go.
Go. Yeah. Go.
And he said, and God said, I got you. I got you.
Okay.
Do what you need to do with your mask and
Yeah.
all of that. Be safe. But he said, go. And we took that time to do that, because I say this is because 2022, if He's blessed us in 2021,
Yeah.
eyes have not seen nor
What?
ears heard what God has in store for 2022. So he basically said, you better get all of the traveling and all of you got out the way, because I got an assignment for you.
Yes.
So do what it is that God has called you to do. Do it now. Don't wait. Now is the time for you to seize this moment right now. And enjoy every part of the process.
Yeah.
Yes. Kendra said, I heard November. So
Yes.
November.
November.
Yeah.
Yes. And somebody else said, who was that? Position yourself to receive what it is God has for you. Yes. Thank you so much, Shay, for that, because at the end of the day, God is moving and blessing. And I think that when we are in, the pandemic was designed to make you fearful. But God was saying, He didn't give us a spirit of fear.
No.
Nope.
You know, the Bible speaks about fear in so many
So
spaces, but
many things.
ultimately, He didn't give us a spirit of fear. You've got to overcome
Mm-hmm.
fear. Be cautious. You want to wear your
Right.
mask, do things, but the time is now, and you got to do it and not be fearful. Patrice, what do you want to leave everybody with?
I just want to say this: your priority moving
Mm.
forward right now has to be you. You know.
Yes.
So whatever that means for you, your priority right now has to be you. Don't worry
Mm-hmm.
about the naysayers. Don't worry. And let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you, I had to learn this the hard way. When you don't have full support, and sometimes it's from the people that you think is as close to you as your arm and your arm in your hand. When you don't have the support,
Mm.
I didn't have anybody in the room with me. But tonight I'm on this call. I got 4 new friends. Well, 3. Well, Monica, she's not on here, but you don't understand what I'm saying. I didn't have these connections before Saturday. And so your
Mm.
priority has to be you. And moving forward, ladies, for 2022 and beyond, to be continued. There you go.
All right.
Yes.
Look, drop the mic. Listen, just I
To
dropped
be.
the mic friend right there. Just drop it. Understand, honey, confirmation.
Yes.
Listen, ladies, I know, and then we might have to come back on again and bring Monica the next time
Yes,
because it is
we
just
got
something
to.
super
Yeah, we go.
powerful
Yes.
about somebody said false evidence appearing real
Real.
fear.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
The thing about it
Mm.
is God is calling just like Esther for such a time as this.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have got to be obedient and willing,
Mhm.
and you've got to show
Yes.
up, and you
Yeah.
got to do it now, and you got to
Mhm.
connect because God is telling you to go so that you can meet women who
Yeah.
can support you
Mm-hmm.
and undergird you for what
Mm.
God has. Like Shay said, He got something for you, and if
Yeah.
you connect to the right ones, you will
Mhm.
be so mentally
Mm.
strong that when you go, nothing can tear you down, nothing can stop you. You will
That's
be a
right.
force to be reckoned with, and that's why you have to
Mm.
show up, and that's why you have to go and
Yes.
move because the connections that you're going to make, you're going to be imparted
Mm.
additional wisdom to take you to the next
Oh
journey.
yeah.
But you got to be
Mm.
obedient and you've got to be mindful
Mm.
and intentional.
Yeah.
Tamika
Yes.
said, let me see what she said. I spend so much time making sure everybody else is okay. I needed that word.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Make
Yeah.
it about you.
Mm.
Make it
Yes.
about you, Tamika. Make it
That's
Make
about
it
Mm.
right.
about you. Ladies, if you
Mm.
don't mind, Toya, we'll start with you,
Mm.
then Shay, then Patrice. How can people get in contact with you so they can follow Women of Peace and anything else that you're doing?
I'm on Facebook. Latoya Carr.
See, Toya so popping, baby. They is still trying to get to hold of her. Listen, Toya Clark
I
Jackson.
I don't know. Everybody's still trying to connect. I'm sorry. I am Latoya Carr Jackson. You can find me on Facebook. My women's group is on Facebook. It is private. We will accept your invitation if you join the group. It is called WOP, Women of Peace, on Facebook as well. I'm on Instagram under my business name, Your Cost Catering and Events, because I am a caterer and a decorator as well. But you can also
Baby, that's what happened when you and Howard
sorry.
began, baby.
Yeah, they're still trying to connect. But yes, you can find me on Instagram as well under my business, Your Cost Catering and Events. Facebook under Women of Peace, WOP, WOP, and my personal page, Latoya Carr Jackson.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Toya said, that's my bestie, baby. She is awesome. That's how, look, that's what friends
Thank
do
you,
for you, honey.
Mika.
Yes, Mika, do that thing. All right, Shay.
All right. So on Facebook, it is Shavonda Crawford. That's SHA, V as in Victor, ONDA. I also have a business page on there, Shay Crawford Real Estate, EXP Real Estate. And then you can also find me on IG at Shay, that's SHAE underscore Crawford. So that's where you can find me. Please connect with me because I definitely have some good stuff, and I try, do lives and inspiration as well. So I'd love to connect with you if you reach out to me. So
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then Miss Patrice.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook, Patrice Kelly. You can find me on Instagram, under my blog post, which is PK, the letters P, letter K, and Michelle. That's on Instagram. And then my personal Instagram, I don't think it's my name, but it's the letter N, inspired P143.
All right. All right. Ladies, I am so appreciative. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you all tonight. It was an even greater pleasure to connect with you on Saturday. And this is just the beginning, y'all. We're going to do some amazing things together going forward. So
Can't wait.
y'all
Thank
gotta
you,
stay
Angela.
tuned. Listen, stay tuned. All right. Y'all have a blessed night for all everyone who tuned in. Thank y'all so much for being here. We appreciate it. You guys be blessed.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you too. Bye.